commentary here. This is going to be a really great match. I'm super hyped for it.
Yeah, well, we do have a pair of 3-0 players. Andrew, also known as Fuzda, versus ShinyZeni here. Zeni vetoing low percent ice, Andrew vetoing hundo, which is kind of what I expected because Zeni's got a couple minutes on Andrew on 100%. Andrew's got a couple minutes on Zeni in low ice, so we're gonna get a GT Classic run, and let's see what their PBs are. Okay.
Yeah, definitely a strategic decision from each runner to veto the category that their opponent is faster in. So
Yeah,
definitely
usually.
resulting in this GT Classic.
Okay, so Zeni's GT Classic PB is a 3440. Andrew's GT Classic is a 3527. So a little bit, less than 2 minutes apart. So a little bit further apart than I'm sure Andrew would like. But that said, GT Classic is a more volatile category than the other two. GT Classic, especially in the parts of the Green Gate glitch and the lava dives that'll be coming up. Both these runners are more than capable of doing that, but it is a choke point in the run. So we're gonna get a nice little run here between these two really good runners. Like I said, they're both 3-0. So that just says everything. Zeni the 3 seed, Andrew the 6 seed. So yeah, as we're now in week 4, as we get these closer and closer Swiss matchups.
No, absolutely. It's just what I want to say is that the electricity is palpable in these 3-0 matchups. As these Swiss rounds progress, I mean, you're going to see the competition just increase. It's just like getting wound up like a spring, just tighter and tighter and tighter every week. So
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
going to be exciting.
And let's talk a little about GT Classic. So what can you tell us about GT Classic hockey?
What I could tell you, Tracy, about GT Classic is while it is, it's one of the shorter categories, but as you said, it is a punishing and volatile category because of like the two final bosses, if you will, which is the lava dive and the green gate glitch. But our runners are going to equip themselves with only the items they need to get to Lower Norfair by utilizing that lava dive, and then make their way to the Golden Teresa room, where they will enter the eponymous GT code, which will give them 100 missiles, a bunch of supers and power bombs, and most of the major items in the game.
Yeah, so 100 missiles, 20 supers, 20 power bombs, 7 E-tanks, 3 reserves. And actually not really 7 E-tanks, actually 700 HP. And yeah, all the major items except Screw Attack. They'll be able to pick up Screw Attack right afterwards. In fact, if you get Screw Attack ahead of time, then you actually lose Screw Attack once you put in the code. So hopefully
I
neither
didn't
one of them
actually
will.
know that.
Yeah, so hopefully neither one of them make that mistake. But yeah, like you said, they're going to pick up the minimum amount of items that they need. Some runners will pick up 2 E-tanks, some will pick up 3. We'll see if either of them goes for the high jumpless lava dive. I actually don't know if either one of them does the high jumpless lava dive or not.
And I've never attempted it, but I've heard that high jumpless lava dive is one of the more finicky, more challenging movement tricks in this game.
Yeah, it really is. Overall, if you know how to do it and know what you're doing, it does save time. But the key words, know how to do it, know what you're doing with it. So if you're going to save time with it, you better be good at it. And
No,
good at other
absolutely.
aspects of the game that would require you to now not have high jump boots. So I don't know that we're going to see it too often in actual races. Whereas in a PB, if you fail it, then you just reset. Whereas if you're going for PB attempts, but in actual race, you probably want a little more safety and to just make sure you actually get it.
No, for sure, for sure. But both these runners setting a good pace here early. Some really nice movement from both of them, all the way from series and all the way up into this climb. Looks like Zeni pulling ahead there a little bit now, heading up into Parlor. Andrew's still making his climb, but doing so in a very, very smooth fashion.
Yeah, but one of the items we do have to pick up are these bombs.
Can't progress without bombs. Gotta have bombs.
Not in the vanilla categories. You can't. You got to have something to blow blocks up with.
Absolutely. So runners are going to take on the first mini boss of the game, Bomb Teresa. and going to try to avoid the decapitation animation by keeping their pea shooter shots in multiples of 5, keeping their missile drops all staggered above GT, or I should say BT's head. We haven't gotten to GT yet.
Can you
Getting
imagine
ahead
if
of
there was
myself here.
Can you imagine this game if we had a BT code instead of a GT code?
Oh my goodness. Just go into Bomb Tree Zone and just get strapped up with every item and just go and crush the rest of the
That
game.
would be awesome.
It'd almost be like New Game Plus.
I guess
But,
it kind of would be that.
It'd be awfully close, but really nice fights from both runners. No decapitation animations. Looks like Zeni heading up parlor, showing off. I love the right side Alcatraz escape. It's so
He does it so smooth.
It's so unusual too. I haven't really seen many people do it. I just love seeing that right side.
Yeah, and the ironic thing with Zeni in this category is he actually, when he signed up for this tournament, he did not actually have an official PB in the standard GT Classic category. He has, however, run, and he did this before the tournament was even announced, the GT 135% category, which is you pick up a pack of missiles, you pick up a pack of power bombs, you pick up a pack of supers, you pick up whatever major items you need, and you go get the GT code, and then go back and pick up everything that's left over to get 135%. So the max GT code. It was actually even joked that he should submit that as his time, but I think that it's a slower enough run that he still would have put him in the same place as not having one. So he decided, you know what, maybe I should go ahead and get myself a higher seed by actually running one GT at least one GT Classic run and getting a PB in it.
Oh, that's amazing. But Zeni showing off that early Supers mock ball to get the first Super Missile Pack. No Spore Spawn fight required for these runners.
Nope. We'll be seeing a little bit of Spore Spawn next week because we're bringing back the all bosses category. But this week, not going to see them. Andrew also picking up his super missiles. And this is where things start getting a little bit different than what you're going to see in a typical any percent run. Because normally what you're going to do here is you're going to pick up a charge beam, you're going to pick up one missile pack, and oftentimes you're going to skip both of these. Let's see if Zeni... Yeah, Zeni's just going to skip both of these. I expect Andrew will too. So you're going to go into Cray with just 5 missiles. You're going to not have the charge beam.
Yeah, definitely a good idea to skip those if you can pull everything off without it. But I did learn that Crate Quick Kill is possible with just a pea shooter shot, not a charge beam shot.
That is correct, yeah. The timing, I think, is a little bit more precise with just the pea shooter, but it is definitely doable. It's actually my preferred quick kill method because of the because in randomizer you don't always have charge beam.
Oh, for sure.
And of course, right now we see that we do need some power bombs, so we're going to go up here and get the most convenient power bomb pack available, which is the ones up Red Tower. So we have to come up here.
Both runners setting a really nice pace here early, but Zeni especially, that was a flawless Red Tower into Hellway, into Alpha PBs, but Andrew's really shortly behind him with also really nice movement here. Actually going with a little bunny hop gap skip method across the Hellway quick farm. And Zeni's already out of Alpha PBs, and Andrew just narrowly avoids falling into that Vile Plume. Really good save there. So got ourselves a little high five.
And I see that Zeni has a little bit of a cheering section going on with his kids, changing "Oh, Dad." So, careful, Andrew. I don't know if you want to make the kids angry.
Oh my goodness! Well, it's good to have the support of friends and family.
Absolutely.
In the Super Metroid multi-category tournament. That's pretty cool. So, Trace, our runners have got their power bomb, super missiles, missile, bombs, morph. So basically just a bare bones item collection here before they can head down to Norfair. But both heading to Kraid to get that all-important Varia suit.
Yeah, because we do need to do a lava dive, and we'd have to get a lot more E-tanks if we're going to do that without any kind of suit. So pretty necessary to get one of the suits. The 135 GT code often gets gravity instead of Varia, but that's a whole different category. Here, it's much faster. Just pick up that Varia suit.
Absolutely. So ShinyZeni blowing away Mini Kraid, picking up all those supers. And he'll be setting up for his Kraid quick kill.
Yep, and you'll notice Andrew blowing up the tube as he goes through it. I assume Zenny did so as well. That'll save just a second or so when they come back through this way at the end, because they will have gravity suit.
I really like that entrance by Andrew into Kraid's warehouse, just supering the door or supering the wall, and then just a little mock ball under. That's really nice. It was also really nice, ShinyZeni with the Kraid quick kill.
Yep, using the 2 missile 3 super setup.
Oh my goodness.
Well.
Oh man.
Okay.
That is really unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunately with that death, Andrew has forfeited from the race. So at this point, I guess we get to commentate on Zenny.
Yeah, I think so. GG's to Andrew, really tough luck. What was he going into Kraid or?
I was distracted by the SRL.
I looked at the SRL. I looked at the SRL chat and it said forfeit, and I was like, oh no, what happened? And by the time I looked at the screen, low health key hunter put him in health bomb.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Oh man, that's tough. So really tough luck for Andrew. But we're definitely going to look forward to seeing him in action in the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean that'll make him 3-1. Still puts him in a very good position to make it into brackets. The 5 and 1s should all make it in without any question, and the 4 and 2s we expect to be playing a play-in race. And so he only needs to win one of these matches the last 2 weeks in order to get at least into the play-in race. If he wins both, then he just flat out makes it into the bracket. So.
No, for sure. But looks like Zenny not doing bootless. He's picked up the high jump boots.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a nice
safe item. Yeah, I wonder if he would have even considered it had Andrew not died. It is a safety at this point. No reason to not play it safe. Just want to make sure you finish the run at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because as chat's been pointing out, there is no win by default in this tournament. Runners whose opponents forfeit still have to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. So. You can have a double forfeit. Yeah, so, yep, absolutely, he has to finish. The knowledge in the chat saying he was practicing with high jump boots, so he was probably going to go for that all along.
Now, there's an interesting little wrinkle that Zenny showed us in Rising Tide is a damage boost off the Sova, and I'm just always thrilled and amazed to see different runners of this game. As a student of the game myself, or maybe like with a 3rd grade level education in Super Metroid, but always just love seeing the little optimizations, the little strats that people that run this game can come up with. So
yeah, absolutely.
Just really interesting stuff from Zenny.
And he's going to go to this farm spot because going into Lower Norfair with just 1 super is not exactly a great recipe. Because we do have to do that green gate glitch. Zenny is very good at getting that green gate on the first try, and is going to go in with 3 supers. But definitely going in with 1 is a very risky proposition. So.
Oh, absolutely. Green gate glitch has ended a lot of GT Classic runs. I feel like Lava Dive is a bit more recoverable, but the time it would take to farm those supers is just so much more punishing than a reset.
You basically have to reset because there's nothing in that area that'll drop super missiles.
Looks like Zenny got a really nice bounce there. It looked like going with an alternative there, trying to grab that last little bit of that stalactite, but going with a little bit more of a orthodox strat there. He's all the way up and through. Really nice from Zenny.
Yep, I'm going to go ahead and take this second safety save. And we're going to head into Lower Norfair.
Yeah, an area of the game that ShinyZeni is all too familiar with, I think.
Well, I don't know if he's that familiar with this part of the game because he's not losing. No, because he's not losing energy.
Yeah, this must be extremely
Like, wait,
unusual for
my
Zenny.
energy is not dropping off as
Yeah,
I'm moving through this area. What's
what
up
the
with
heck?
that?
Why am I not taking constant heat damage? Why don't I have enough ammo to crystal flash? This is crazy. And
Yeah.
a first
And there
try
you go,
green
first
gate
try.
glitch.
Yeah,
My
first try
goodness.
green gate glitch. After he went through the trouble to farm, didn't even need it.
No, that was just that farm session. That was just window dressing from Zenny. He didn't need those supers.
And does execute the GT code properly. The GT code being holding all the face buttons A, B, X, and Y as you go through the room, and successfully pauses to turn off Spazer because very bad things happen if you leave both Spazer and Plasma on at the same time. So a couple other things that you always have to be aware of. Some runners
Absolutely.
will roll into the room to make sure they don't accidentally fire a shot. Other runners will select missiles to make sure they don't accidentally fire a shot. I don't believe he did either one of those things. He just knows what he's doing that well. Picks up that all-important screw attack, so after the GT code, otherwise he would have lost it. We don't want that.
Once you get screw attack, you gotta keep screw attack. But I know he's already flying through the Ripper room. He's already past GT, but I love Zenny's setup there against GT to just kind of start at the left side of the room and fire a shot and chase it down and kind of start the fight that way without taking any damage. So that was a really cool fight from Zenny.
All right, showing why worst room in the game isn't worst room in the game when you have space jump, high jump, and screw attack. Not to mention plasma beam.
Absolutely. I've always said that worst room in the game with this item loadout just becomes another room in the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you can see why. Those developers knew what they were doing. The intended strats, intended item pickups make for a really, really, really fast, really comfortable room there.
Yep. And honestly, that's one of the beauties of this game is that there's so many different ways to play it based on what items you pick up. I always talk about Lower Norfair being my favorite part of the game because you could have this kind of loadout or like the Hundo loadout where you just have everything. You just fly right through. But it's very fun to have one of the have a lower amount of items, having to be more careful and just having to play it that way. It's a totally different experience and totally different gameplay.
For sure. Then going for the double KO, we got one but not the other. Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, Tracy, that there's so many different ways to play this game. I've heard that some people are crazy enough to actually fight Ridley first and then do the rest of the bosses in the reverse order. Like, what were they thinking?
Yeah,
I can't believe somebody would come up with something like that.
I don't know what those people are thinking. we could ask Zenny because I think he's one of those people.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really hard to say that with a straight face.
And with this beam combination, it'll be a 20-shot Ridley fight. Then he should make very quick work of this.
I think he's already landed half his shots before the fight.
So yeah, there it is. There Ridley's already in that nice pink color. It's gonna supplement with supers here.
DPS increasing with those supers, very nice.
And there it is. Ridley is down.
Man, that was a really nice fight. Way to go, Zenny.
And of course, we don't need to pick up anything else. The game's already provided us with everything we need, so no neat reason to pick up that Ridley E-Tank.
I believe it was a fellow tournament organizer, along with you, Tracy, Sloters27. I know a lot of people have heard of him, but he put it most accurately about this GT Classic category. It's kind of like low percent in that you just grab the bare essentials, but then once you execute that GT code, it's just a boss rush. And you just get to just fly through every area of the game, fully strapped up. I just think it's just a very interesting category. And look at these spring ball strats.
The spring ball reverse K-goes. That was
oh
those
my
are really
goodness.
Cool. Zenny just showing off now.
Yep,
nice speedball to get out of Wasteland.
That was one of the prettiest wastelands I've ever seen.
Sure
I've watched this game for about 4 years, but wow. But yeah, this is knowing that unfortunately, with Andrew forfeiting, there won't be any competition. He's given us a little bit of an exhibition here, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so Gizzy does still have to finish, so he's head on over to Meridia. We'll get to see that, and hopefully he remembers to head on over to Fantoon.
And not to take anything away from Andrew, he's an incredible runner. He's been a part of the Super Metroid community for a very long time, had made major contributions to its organization, democratization, of course. But yeah, just an example that no matter how good or bad you are at this game, you know, bad luck can happen.
Well,
You can get in a circumstance where you don't have any other choice but to press on regardless.
yeah, to quote Kip, sometimes the game just says no.
Yeah, no
And
doubt
that's
about it.
essentially what happened there. I mean, he could have restarted, but I don't blame him for not restarting. Just Zenny, unless Zenny was going to mess up and have a really hard time with the Green Gate glitch or with Lava Dive, and it's just, you know, with a runner of this caliber, it's just not that likely. I can certainly see why he'd want to just go ahead and wait till next week. Hopefully, gets a little bit better luck on his run. But he is a very good runner. Does a lot of ROM hacks. I enjoy watching that. He actually taught me a few things when I was struggling one day trying to figure out how to ice clip into Spring Ball. He was there, helped me out with that. So super good guy. Definitely give him your love, and also, and since we're on that topic, give both these runners a follow. So
No, absolutely. So Zenny's up into Meridian now, into the fish tank. Normally you wouldn't have space jump here if you're visiting Meridian for the first time, but GT Code don't care. GT Code's got space jump, so he's just making very quick work of these rooms.
yeah, space jump, my favorite item, especially in Meridia, where it just works so well. And of course, we will see in just a second, the game does give them grapple and x-ray, even though you can't actually see it on their HUDs. And we're going to see a use of x-ray. This is one of the only categories outside of randomizer where you actually get to do this. Because the game does not expect you to have Plasma Beam for Bot Wound or Plasma Beam for Dragon. So Zenny's going to go ahead and set up with a charged Plasma Shot and then use x-rays to buffer it. Looks like he didn't quite get all of them. Ends up firing a super to finish him off, but that works just fine. It's only 4 shots with this beam combination to destroy bot wounds. It doesn't take very long.
For sure, great adjustment, great little backup there to finish with that super. So I think like what really separates a runner like Zenny or Andrew, or a runner that's just very inexperienced, like perhaps me, perhaps some other people, is that the speed of decision making. They know exactly what to do in case something doesn't quite work out.
Right.
Whereas me, I'm just kind of sitting there, kind of like, you know, we're accessing the hard drive. It's like, you know, and
yeah, not just the strats, but the backup strats. You know.
Yeah, it just takes forever for me to decide to do anything. But with these runners, they've got so many different options in their repertoire that they can just be like, oh, this didn't work, I can go to plan B, plan C, plan D, just go down the list.
And as we wait for Dragon to appear, we're going to see another microwave here. You'll notice this time Zenny is kneeling, and the reason you do that is because you see where he stood up right there? Once the same as sprite stands up, you know the Dragon's dead, so you don't have to worry about counting or anything, or figuring out which shots hit, which shots don't.
That is so clever, I love it. I never knew that. Thank you, Tracy.
All right, now we're going to head out of Meridian. We have one more boss to kill. You do have to kill Fantoon still.
Nice reverse halfie from Zenny, having gotten that spike suit. Very cool. So Samus Aran's microwave beam, is that an 800 watt or a 1200 watt microwave? It's got to be 1200 watt.
I was thinking 900 because that's the damage that the charge plasma does.
The 900 watt microwave beam. Oh my gosh, Tracy. Oh, can I please use that?
You asked the question.
Can I please use that?
Oh, please do.
Oh, it's it. Every GT race from now on. Oh my goodness. How many watts is Samus Aran's microwave beam? Well, it's got to be 900 watts. Too good, Tracy. Thank you.
Okay, as we make our way out of Meridia, never to return, at least in this run.
And Zenny taking special care not to kill the Sephi / Pongfish, so it's very respectful. But for you fish lovers
Oh.
out there, the fish doesn't survive, so whatever.
Nice foosball out of the tunnel there with the spring ball strats. Gotta love those spring ball strats.
Yeah, shout outs to Andrew. You know, it's the eponymous foosball, right?
Right, now we get to just jump all the way across here. Skip the missile. That's the other boss. Make sure you skip that missile because you don't want to take that extra 7 seconds.
Yeah, kiss those 7 seconds goodbye if you pick up that missile, unfortunately.
That's right.
And also, Zeni not only remembering to take off Spazer when he input the GT code, but also remembering to not execute Fantune skip RTA. Instead of turning left, he did turn right there at Criteria and headed to the direct ship.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
very good.
Shout outs to Sloters, who's an expert on the Fantune skip. Ironically, that was a race against Andrew a couple years ago in the multi-category tournament.
Oh my
with the
goodness,
tie,
was it really?
so, yes, it was. If you haven't seen that race, you should definitely check out that VOD. It was probably the race of that tournament.
Fantune skip is not usually recommended, but makes for a good viewing. Zeni also gonna open up with the 900-watt microwave beam here.
Yeah, the Fantune kill's a little bit different with the microwave beam. He has to actually start with a missile to get Fantune to open up his eye, and then do very quick microwaves, and then that's it. That's all for Fantune. And it was a fast pattern, so that's about as quickly as you can do Fantune in any category. Also, shout outs to the, this is going to become his signature, the Ninja Turtle pajama pants. Big fan of
Absolutely. That. Zeni's got that TURTLE power right now.
That's right.
So yeah, all 4 G4 bosses have been defeated by Zeni. He's going to fly out of here, through Criteria all the way to G4.
Yeah, the speed booster into the space jump. One of my favorite strats. It just doesn't get, there aren't enough places where you can use that.
It's just so cool. We're going to see it again here when he re-enters Parlor, I think. And unfortunately, I missed it because I decided to refresh to see. Oh, it came back just in time to see him buzzsaw through that wall.
So
Very
good,
nice.
so good. All right, let's head to those G4, and we do have to sit here and wait, contemplate our lives. So, and just to recap for those of you maybe just coming in, Andrew, going into Kraid's lair, was a little low on health and took a little too much damage to the Key Hunters and didn't make it through the Green Pirates in the next room. Did elect to forfeit at that point. Again, I can't really say that I blame him. Zeni being such a strong runner, it would have taken a huge mistake for him to for Andrew to really have had a shot in this race. So we're just gonna watch this beautiful run by Zeni finish off. Because he does have to finish, like we said before. You still have to finish to get a win. You know, double forfeits are a thing. Fortunately, they're not a thing that has happened in this tournament yet, but
no doubt about that.
But they could happen, and we don't want them to happen. So Zeni's got to finish this out. Oh, some beautiful, beautiful play in Metroid Rooms 1. Just love it when it just looks like that they're not even changing from the beam to super missiles. It just one smooth effort of shooting, and just all the Metroids are gone. Oh, beautiful, beautiful Metro Room 3 as well, once again. You sure you're changing from...
Just
you sure you
astonishing.
don't have some sort of cheater thing that's cheating? No, of course he doesn't. But yeah, this when you get to see... I love watching Metro Rooms when it literally looks like they're just firing one shot and it's freeze and then kill, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, that was a very, very fast series of Metroid rooms. And what's interesting, since Zenny's got his hand cam up, you see him kind of switch to that kind of piano grip, make his way through those Metroid rooms, execute the inputs a lot faster. I've heard that Sloters uses a double claw to make it through Metroid rooms. So again, just the versatility and kind of each runner's comfort level in developing their own style is very very unique aspect. It looked like he went for the spring ball baby skip there too.
Yeah, didn't quite get it. The spring ball baby skip is a really neat trick. It's a little more than a year old. I believe it was found in January of 2019. The nice thing about the spring ball baby skip is if you miss it, it doesn't cost you nearly the time that a regular baby skip does if you don't get it, because you're gonna get gotten very quickly. You see where he's basically one
get gotten.
You're gonna get gotten.
For all you novice Super Metroid runners out there, take Trace's advice. Don't get gotten, all right?
But yeah, so we are going to move on. Unfortunately, having to pick up that refill. We'll see if he decides to save here. The only real danger at this point is the stand-up glitch. There is a possibility of soft lock if he doesn't execute properly. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. Very nice down-back Zeb skip.
No need to turn off screw attack.
Nope,
not for
not with that.
ShinyZeni.
Not with that Zeb skip. He will have to dip into the reserves. The reserves have 300 energy. You do need to be at a full 700 health. Because reminder, the way the GT code works, it doesn't give you 7 E-tanks per se. It gives you 700 energy. So if he's full up, it's going to be 7 E-tanks full and a 0-0 on the bottom. And of course, this will take 20 shots.
Nice thing about Mother Brain too is that she lets you just get in, 7-8 shots before she starts attacking you. So very courteous of Mother Brain to make an already not so hard fight a little bit easier.
Yeah, the Mother Brain fight just varies so much based on what your beam combination, what your ammo is. So when you have the 20-shot Charge Ice Wave Plasma version, it's a pretty easy fight. But if you get a chance to watch any of the low percent races, we had 3 of them yesterday. 2 of them restreamed. It's a very, very, very different fight and a much more difficult fight.
Oh, no question. What is it, like 200 shots?
200 shots with the ice beam.
That is absolutely crazy. It's awesome that it had 3 races in one day in that category. It seems like it's gaining a little bit of traction. I know it sounded like from the previous rounds it was going to be an unpopular choice, but good to see some runners choosing.
We went from no low percent ice runs to 3 right in a row, so that was pretty cool. Alright, and to execute this stand-up glitch properly, Zenny's going to have to be in the air in a few very precise moments. This first one right here where the Metroid leaves the head. There was one earlier when the Metroid attaches to Mother Brain. And the last little bit, he needs to make sure, one, that the Metroid stays attached, and make sure he's not shooting when his beam turns into a hyper beam. He does have the X-ray scope in case things go wrong. That doesn't solve every soft lock, but it solves a lot of them. So far, executing this just fine.
That was what, 3 shots, Tracy, for the hyper beam?
Looks like that there certainly wasn't a whole lot of them. Alright, and all that's left is the escape. No, and to answer the question, we are, our low percent category is low percent ice. There are actually several different low percent categories. One that does involve speed booster instead of ice. We want to keep it limited to just the main one.
Well,
And a
I've-
blue bomber getting out
Woo!
of the escape. Very nice. One of the best reasons to pick up string ball is so you can do that strat.
Absolutely love the blue bomber. And a nice moonfall through the Leodox room from Zeni. Very nice movement, start to finish.
And gets the spark up the climb. Making very quick work of that parlor. Beautiful movement getting up there. And as he climbs into the ship, finishing up with an official SRL time of 35:21. GG's to ShinyZeni. And that will do it for him, and he will move on to the 4-0 bracket. And that's going to be a tough bracket. Right now, we have him and a real cutie waiting for to find out who their opponents are. Tomorrow, we'll have Zost versus Aussie and Sloters versus Kip. And all 4 of those runners, really, really good runners. And that's a tough set of 4 people to be in the 4-0 bracket.
I'll say that's like it reads like a Mount Rushmore of Super Metroid.
It really does.
So we'll see if Zeni will join us for a short interview after his race, but while we wait for that, I'd like to remind you all that there's plenty more Super Metroid multi-category tournament action heading your way. Tonight, we have several matchups on the docket. At 8 p.m., we've got Nevdi versus TG Derp. That's going to be over on SpeedGaming 3. Immediately followed at 9 p.m. by Sate Zero versus Cerberoth. That's going to be on SpeedGaming 6. And then finishing out the primetime slots at 10 p.m., Asder versus Beef Robber, also on SpeedGaming 3. And then a whole slew of races on Saturday. There's 8 races scheduled from the early afternoon all the way into the primetime hours.
I am going to highlight 2 of those races in particular. We talked about these guys before because the other 3-0 matchup, the Kip versus Sloters, that's going to be at 3 o'clock tomorrow, and Aussie versus Zost at 7 o'clock. The last of the 3-0s, duking it out to see who's going to join ShinyZeni and a real cutie in the 4-0 bracket. And welcoming in ShinyZeni. How you doing, Zeni?
Oh, I'm good. I'm sad. I was really excited for this race.
I know, so was I. I mean, I was really excited to watch your run. It was a beautiful run, but yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't a race what we were hoping for.
Right. Yeah. I actually apparently had a real shot at PBing. I was only plus 14 at G4, despite the safeties that I took. So that's cool. Yeah, I was always planning on taking high jump boots. I think skipping that in a race scenario, unless you are 300% confident, is a bad idea. So,
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think it makes more sense in a PB attempt than it makes in a race situation.
Yeah,
because, if you mess it up in a PB attempt, you reset and you're only losing a little bit of time. Just start over. But yeah, in a race, yeah, I could definitely see just get the high jump boost, just do it.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, overall, I feel like the run went pretty well, better than I was expecting for sure. So,
yeah, your wife seemed a little less sure that you were gonna win.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I noticed her in chat saying you thought you weren't gonna get this one. So, I mean, because your experience with GT Classic, because you did the 135 before you ever really did a GT Classic run.
Right, yeah.
And then looking at your PBs, you can talk about this a little bit. It was pretty obvious what you each were going to veto, because there was quite a bit of difference between your hundo and Andrew's, as well as his low ice and your low ice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think I was going to lose necessarily, but I didn't consider it like this quote-unquote free win.
No.
I mean,
it's the 3-0 bracket. There's nothing free here.
Right. And really, in a race situation, nothing is ever free. I mean, I almost, just like my first race was 100% race, and based on my PB, that should have been super easy, but I was only like one big mistake away from losing that one a few weeks ago.
If I remember correctly, the crumble blocks were a bit of a thing.
Yeah.
Those darn crumble blocks.
So yeah, I mean, I knew I was going up against Andrew, and I knew that he has more experience than I do with GT Classic, and I've only done 2 runs, so this would be my third, or maybe fourth, but yeah, it's I was worried for sure, and that's kind of why I'm a little bit bummed. It looked like he was practicing the high jump bootless lava dive before, and that certainly would have given him an edge,
Yep.
So
if you can execute it, yeah. I mean, as I said earlier, it is faster if you can do it, if you can execute it. But of course, keywords always if you can execute it.
Right.
As is often the case in different strats in Super Metroid.
Yeah. Thanks for the commentary, you guys. You guys killed it.
Yeah. Thanks, Zenny.
Thank you, Zenny.
Wish you GGs. That was a terrific run. So thank you very much for putting on a great show for us.
Yeah, of course. Like usual, I just want to say thank you to everybody organizing this tournament. It's been super fun so far. And stick around for the awesome races that we have coming up. I know you mentioned we have a couple going on tomorrow, some really hype matchups. Is there anything else today, or was this it?
Oh yeah, okay.
There's a ton.
Do you want to take this, Hockey, or shall I?
I said it once.
Okay,
You can say
it. I got this. At 8 o'clock, we have Nevdi versus TG Derp. I believe that's a 2-1 matchup. At 9 o'clock, we have Set Zero versus Cerberoth. At 10 o'clock, we have another 2-1 matchup, Asger versus BF Robber. So those are the matches today, and there's literally starting at 1 o'clock. We have every hour matches from 1 to 4 o'clock, and then matches at 7 and 9 o'clock, and 10 o'clock as well. So a whole lot of stuff going on.
Awesome.
So I honestly not sure everything's getting restreamed tomorrow. I'm sure we're going to get as many restreams in as we can. But a lot of good matches. And, this is like the week where we start. I feel like this is the week where we started really getting the Swiss tournament format, started really doing its job and getting the good matchups between similar level players. So
for sure.
Makes it a lot of fun to watch these races.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. We really look forward to seeing in action for the rest of the tournament, Zenny.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks.
And you know what? 4-0, and at 4-0, that doesn't clinch you a playoff spot yet, but it does at worst put you in the play-in game. So definitely, I'd be surprised if you didn't make it into brackets. So you're looking really good for that part of the tournament.
Well, whoever I'm up against next is it's going to be a tough win for sure. And if it's Sloters, that's pretty much a guaranteed loss. If we're being honest.
We've got Sloters and Kip, Zos and Asi yet to play each other. So 2 of those guys will be available, and of course a real cutie. So
right.
Yeah, that's a definite who's who of good runners in Super Metroid, including you. Let's let's make sure you get your due as well.
Yeah, we've got some great contestants for sure.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm going to drop off, but thanks again, and thank you to our sponsors as well. I'm really happy to see, how much our community and our game is growing. So.
Absolutely.
No, for sure,
right.
Zenny.
Yeah, thank you, Zenny.
I'll catch you later.
Kip in the chat said, well, I think you can win, Kip, but it's going to be that's definitely one of the races that if you're not already circling it, that Kip versus Sloters race will be a good one. But yeah, that's going to pretty much do it for us. So, yep, go ahead and make sure you tune in to the next race at 8 o'clock. My name is Tracy M, and I'll let you go ahead and close it out, Hockey.
Well, thank you very much, Trace. It's been a pleasure commentating with you, and GG's to both Andrew and Zenny. We look forward to seeing you in action in the remaining Swiss rounds of the tournament, hopefully into the playoff bracket after that. So, on behalf of all the SG crew and the organizers of the Super Metroid multi-category tournament, this is the Hockey Towner. Having been joined by Tracy, I'm wishing you all a pleasant evening, and we'll see you next mission.